Hello everybody, it is Monday when you see this, and it is another Last of Us Sunday, another episode, another review. How exciting! I have my cup of almond milk because I just ate a piece of sugar bread. That's what it's called in English. It's called pan dulce in Spanish, but I just finished one, and so I needed my fix of almond milk because I can't drink regular milk. I have my notes written down here. So let's get started. So this episode begins immediately, not immediately, like maybe let's say a couple days, weeks after, not even days, weeks, but like a day. They're like a couple hours from the last episode, episode 4. Can I just say, episode 3. With episode 4, I rewatched it and I rewatched it every single time, bawling my eyes out. It was such a beautiful episode. Like, it still gets to me. It's crazy how that works. So we immediately start up and Ellie has Frank's gun and she's like, pew, 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 you know, she like thinks she's so like cool and awesome that she has it, and like she's kind of having her little like superhero kind of moment, which I thought was kind of cute, you know, because you know she is young and you know this is the first time that she like has a gun, and so she's always wanted one ever since like we've seen the first episode. And so it was interesting that we got to see that, and like how cool, or not how cool, but like how just to see in her like worldview, like, Joe, she has a gun now, what is she gonna do with it? And she still keeps it a secret. And we see Joel getting gas, which was something that did happen in the games. So I was like, there's a +1 on that. It's funny, like him explaining it. I mean, obviously it makes sense. You suck it out and then the gas comes out. But you know, they just explained it for people that don't know how that works. The joke book. So I actually didn't think it was gonna happen this early on, but like that's literally when she starts to tell Joel jokes in the game. But I think it's because the games are like expanded longer than the show. I was like, why is this happening? But then like I was like, wait, this is when it's exactly supposed to happen. There was the jokes, and then you know Joel's like, what is happening? And I just thought it was so cute because the joke books were like my favorite part of Left Behind. Or at least when you have that moment with Ellie and Riley and they're like just reading the jokes over and over again. So there was jokes that they transferred from Left Behind to like the show, and I thought that was really cute. And it's the exact same like joke book, actually. Fun fact. If you looked at it, I guess people were pointing it out. So I was like, oh, that's cool that they were able to adapt something else for the world. So that was also great to see. So we begin their little road trip. And this episode, I was actually kind of shocked because I didn't expect it to be like more of a bonding episode, which is kind of crazy because the bandits section of the game, again, I'm mentioning it, is kind of like when they actually bond and when they form like their kind of like relationship as like father and daughter, or like, you know, that sort of type of relationship. So I thought it was so I don't know why, I just feel like I was so shocked. Like I was like, why is this happening so quickly? But it's not. It's actually pacing exactly how the books are, but because the books how the games are, but because you know we're like limited to, we're not seeing gameplay, we're not seeing all these things. It's like, wait, why is this happening so quickly? But it's not. It's actually pacing very well. But I just get so surprised by it. Like I'm like, oh, okay, now we're doing it now. So yeah, there was so like that was the only like shocking thing to me. But then I was like, okay, I get it. And then we get to the part where I think I forgot what the place is in the game, but here it takes place in Kansas. But like I know a lot of people were complaining about that, but to me it doesn't matter as long as they get like, you know, key points of like the story into there. It doesn't matter where they're at. Who cares that they're in Kansas instead of, I think it was Pittsburgh. Like, does it matter? No, it's just a place. It's just an apocalyptic place. Like, as long as you get the beat right with the whole bandit section, which they did well. We'll get to that in a second. There's no reason to like be complaining about it being in Kansas. Like, it's just Kansas. It's just an apocalyptic place where the pandemic happened. So it doesn't matter. Oh, then they also got the car scene right. I know everybody was anticipating that scene because, you know, it's such an iconic scene in the book where, like, Ellie gives them the tape. They listen to the tape and they're like, meh. And then you have the scene where she finds the magazine and they don't explicitly say that it's Bill's, but, like, it's pretty, like, obvious that it's Bill's, you know? And they did get it right, like literally feet by feet, like frame by frame, which I thought was so funny. It was so cute, and it was so like funny seeing like Bella's like interpretation of that scene, because she's like, whoa, you know? And it's just a funny scene in general, so it's always nice to have like that kind of warmth and, you know, like upbeat kind of like feet, especially in a story like this, especially where it's heading, so that you can at least get like some sort of like sincerity, some sort of sincerity before we get to like the crazy parts. So I thought that was nice. And then immediately we get to the bandits. So obviously it's different, like, you know, in the game it's kind of like cars are, well, actually it's kind of the same. The cars are just in the way and they're not able to go, so it's like, okay, well, we have to try to go around it because we can't go back and try a different route, because then that'll take them hours, probably even days. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And it was kind of interesting that we saw Joel like get off and actually see like the other side was like clear. It was just a big like semi truck that was just in the way, and he was like, what the hell? And they take that risk of going, and then they're lost. Then they see the QZ, it's empty. So they're like, what the hell? And we get that exact same scene frame by frame once again of the bandits attacking them, but it's not as crazy as it was in the video games, because in the video games they get hit by a bus that the bandits threw at them, which I thought was crazy. Like, it's still crazy that I think about it, but I like that they kind of reduced it to Joel just just crashing into a store, because if they got hit by a bus they probably would have gotten hurt. So more, it was just realistically for them to just do that. So I thought that was good. And a lot of people were complaining. Okay, I did see some complaints on Twitter that they kind of nerfed Joel down, but you don't want him going pew 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 pew. Like, yeah, that would be fun to watch, but I feel like they're saving that for the hospital scene, because that is where Joel just goes absolutely insane, crazy, and I feel like they're saving all his wrath for that. And it's also very important that they do that, because, you know, it's like, how much can you take? Like, Joel's not John Wick. He's in his late like 50s, or like mid 50s, I mean. And even later in the story, they even show that Joel's old. And, you know, even earlier in episode 2, Tess was like, you try walking with our knees, you know? Like, Joel's old, like, he's not gonna get it right all the time. And then they even hint at him being or growing deaf in his right ear. I do like that they aged him, like, for a good reason, because he is old, but like in the video games he's just supersonic and he has great hearing, you know, in the game features. But, you know, you can't have that, and you can't translate that well in real life, because then it's like, who is he? He's not John Wick. He can't do all this stuff. So I thought it was really nice that they nerfed him down, but like for a good reason, because this is a real life thing. I just got a spam call. I just got a spam call. Like, the number looked so familiar too, so I was like, oh, maybe I'm getting a job about employment. It was a spam call. I was like, hello? And immediately, like, you could tell from the voice, and I was like, nah, I just hung up. Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh, Joel being nerfed down. Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine that he was nerfed down, and for like good reason, because like I said, he's old, he's not John Wick. So it was just nice to see him, like, how he's aged into the apocalypse and how it has affected him in the way with, like, you know, he needs breaks at times, he can't hear because he shoots a lot. So that was like I'm not complaining. I actually thought it went well. Anyways, so the next point. This scene was kind of crazy. Ellie's like first like kill, like, you know, because in the games it's kind of like Joel's stuck, like he's literally being drowned, and then Ellie just goes bam and, you know, gets the guy. So we see that in the game, and it's kind of intense. Like, you know, Joel's angry and he's like, why did you have a gun? Like, what the heck? Why did you do that? It could have been him or me. And so it was like very like high intensity, and you feel like, oh, he's scolding me. But in this one, he does get mad. You can see in his facial expression that he's mad that Ellie did it. But it was either him or the other guy. This time she doesn't get a headshot. You know, she just shoots whatever she sees first, and the first thing she sees is his back. And because of that, you know, he can't walk because she gets his spine. And so I thought it was interesting how it went down, because we actually see the guy kind of like beg for mercy and beg for his life. Like, you know, like at first it's like, oh, he's a bandit. They're trying to get them, you know, to kill them for their things. But then, you know, once you're in that moment, you're like, oh, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want this. So it was very interesting to see that down, and it was kind of like terrifying and like horrifying in a way. Like, I felt off put by that scene, because I was like, I don't like watching this guy suffer. And I kind of like that they did that, because they're like showing like the humanity of it all, you know, like yeah, in the game you're just like slicing and dicing and smashing and pew pew pew. But like in the show, you have to kind of show that humanity, just show that, even though there's bad people in the world, they still have thoughts and they still have feelings. And, that guy in the moment was like, wait, no, I have a family. Please let me go. I can't feel anything, but please spare me, even though I was trying to kill you 2 seconds ago. And, that's how it is, people do plead for their life, and he was pleading for his life. So I thought that was really great that they did that and how they showcased and broke that down. And instead of Joel getting mad and angry, he kind of apologized to Ellie, that he was like, I'm sorry you had to do that, but we are in a situation where you kind of had to do that, or else that guy would have gotten us both. So it was either him or me. But I did like that it was more like he was apologizing, and they kind of did have a little sincere moment. And then he gave her the gun because he was like, okay, I do trust you now. And I will say, though, there was, like, moments, especially when they were in the camp together, where I felt like it could have been really good, nice moments, but it was kind of ruined by the jokes. I mean, I understood the jokes where it's kind of like she's trying to grow this bond with him, and he's just like, what is she doing? And the jokes were one way for her to kind of, like, crack that barrier that he had. So sometimes I kind of felt like it could have been a nice, serious scene, but then they did a joke. So it was kind of like, wait a second, what? But it's fine, it's fine. And so then we get to see Kathleen. So Kathleen is a new character in the show. She is like the leader of not the Fireflies, not Fedra. They're just like a rogue group. And so I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I'm very like, with her. I'm very confused. Like, I understand that they want to give more of an in-depth look at the bandits, so I understood why they made that character. And also Jeffrey Pierce, who voiced Tommy in the video games, plays like her right-hand man, and so that was cool to see him. And I heard him and I was like, that's Tommy. I saw him, I was like, that's Tommy. And so I thought that was cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have like any thoughts or anything. I just want to see how she is later in the show in my next episode, because I'm honestly like, I just have zero like thoughts other than I'm gonna keep an open mind for her, because I don't know what they're gonna do in terms of the bandits and how it goes. I know in the preview they did like show her with Henry and Sam, and so obviously Henry and Sam are part of their group. I don't know. I have no idea what they're doing, so I'm just gonna wait and see and just leave it at that. We did get a little tease of the bloater, which I thought was interesting. Like that huge thing, I was like, what is, like, I'm gonna be honest, I watched this episode like 4 or 5 times. Like, because I watched it the first time, I couldn't really pay attention, because every time I watch like the show for the first time, I get overwhelmed, so I'm not really paying attention the first time, so I have to watch it again. And then I just kept watching it over and over and over, and I was like, okay. But like every single time, like I would figure out something new. Like I was like, what is that little crater? But I guess it was where the bloater was. Like it maybe had landed there, or it's under, I have no idea. But I was so like, what the heck is that? Like I was confused. And then after, we kind of go to, we go to back to Joel and Ellie, and so they are like, they finally found a spot to like rest for the night, and they had a cute sweet little moment where Ellie, where they're like, it's a very serious one where she's like, what are you doing? And then he's like, so like I can hear the glass, and then they just talk and get to know each other more. And then she tells him a joke and he laughs. Dude, when I saw that Joel was laughing, I was like, oh my god. Like I actually wanted to cry, because like I was like, when was the last time Joel laughed? Like with Sarah, probably. Like he's probably been very serious at wanting to keep everybody, that like his family, safe. So I don't think he's ever like had that chance to laugh. So I thought it was really cute that he had this moment, and I was like, Joel, please. And then you can like actually see that, at the beginning of the game, the episode, Ellie's trying to like form a bond with him, and then at the end of it, it's like she kind of succeeded, which I thought was really nice. And then we get that tease with Henry and Sam, so then they laugh to the night, and then Ellie's like, Joel, and then they wake up and it's Henry and Sam. People were like kind of, I'm gonna be honest, people on the internet were kind of gassing up Henry and Sam this episode, and I knew in my mind, I was like, they're not gonna show up this episode. I was like, if they do, they're gonna show up at the end, and that's exactly what happened. They literally showed up at the last minute, because I knew they were gonna focus next week's episode on the Henry and Sam portion of the game, with added material, obviously, with like Kathleen and stuff. And we're gonna see a bloater next week, which I wonder how that's gonna look. I don't know. I'm very excited. I'm scared, but also excited. But yeah, those are my thoughts for episode 4 of The Last of Us. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video if you liked my review / commentary. And don't forget to hit subscribe. I'm going to be reviewing all the episodes up until the last episode, and I'm very excited for them. Episode 5 does come out on Friday, but I don't have HBO Max because I watched it live on TV because we have HBO on cable. So I don't know. I'm gonna see if my sister wants to invest in HBO Max. We'll see. If I can get that to happen, I will definitely try to like do live reactions. But I don't know, because I do watch it like from TV. Like I just don't want to have my phone next to me while I'm watching, you know? But yeah, I will see how it goes. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so excited for next week. We're gonna see a bloater. We're gonna see more Henry and Sam. We're gonna see more Kathleen. I don't know what they're gonna do with her, but I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys all next week with another review. So have a good day, night, whatever it is. Bye!